Voting is not magic. Voting is medicine. And when it comes to the issue of abortion care, this is a medicine we must take now.
With the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the 6-week abortion ban that Governor Brian Kemp set into place is now the law of the land. How are you seeing not only the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, but also this strict gestational ban affect Black birthing people in Georgia?
We know that this is lethal in the state of Georgia. For maternal mortality, it's number one in the nation in Georgia. For Black women, it is you're 3 times more likely to perish. And that is because we often lack insurance before birth, before pregnancy, we lack support during pregnancy, and then postnatal, it is also very dangerous. This law essentially guarantees that that rate will go up for 3 reasons. One, Georgia has 82 counties without an OBGYN, which means that for most of the women that we are concerned about, they will not have access to an OBGYN until they've been pregnant for at least a few weeks. And so they are denied medical care from the outset. They're denied choice. We also know that what is more likely to happen is that they're going to be forced to carry unwanted pregnancies to term, that it is going to cost them not only their health, but it could cost them their jobs. A woman who has to leave work for an unwanted pregnancy or an unintended pregnancy, their likelihood of going back to full-time work drops by 60%. On every metric, this is a dangerous law. And for Black women in particular, it is both lethal to her body and possibly lethal to her future.
What do you think people who are setting these laws in motion don't understand about the people that they're affecting?
One, they don't understand biology. What they also don't understand is that, for example, an ectopic pregnancy is never going to come to term. But we've already seen in Texas, a woman was forced to have it rupture and go into hemorrhage. She lost 1 liter of blood before the doctor and the hospital lawyers said that she could be treated. In Georgia, that doctor, the nurse who assisted him, had they stepped in earlier, could be subject to 10 years in prison. And then there's the long-term implications of being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term. This devastates life. This is a traumatic physical experience. This is not some easy challenge, an easy process. And what you are forcing women to endure is something that only a person who chooses to do so should be compelled to do so. It is callous, it is mean, and it misunderstands at a fundamental level the notion, the very essence of freedom.
And looking towards the future of abortion care legislation, not only in Georgia, but nationwide, recently the Georgia Department of Revenue announced that it's going to allow residents to file embryos as dependents on their state taxes, providing as much as $3,000 per unborn child with a detectable heartbeat.
My campaign manager tweeted out a very important question. Because this is now the law of the land, if you have a spontaneous abortion, also known as a miscarriage, you can be investigated for that miscarriage because you have to prove it was a spontaneous abortion as opposed to elective. Will you then also be subject to tax fraud? If a woman has a glass of wine and something happens in the course of the pregnancy, because of personhood, is this woman now subject to murder charges? We don't know what this means because they did not think about what it means. For so many of those who voted on this law, they presumed that Roe v. Wade would be the law of the land and they would have the benefit of a political calling card without the consequence of the action. And what Brian Kemp has done, what the legislators in Georgia did, is strip women of the right to control their lives and their futures, but they've also created unprecedented challenges in how we construct our society.
You've expressed that there needs to be a legislative solution to restoring abortion care as a constitutional right in this country. What do you think about the president's recent string of executive actions? Do they go far enough, and what more would you like to see done?
I think the president has done what he can within the bounds of how our laws are constructed. We would like to get back to the place where we have federal protections, but until we win 60 votes in the U.S. Senate and hold the House and hold the presidency, we will not see that. But in November, we have absolutely every opportunity to elect governors who can protect us, because that's the mission. We saw it begin with the decision on voting rights in 2013. When you delegate the rights to states, we are returning to the bad old days, the sinister practice of the quality of your citizenship being determined by the governorship of your state. Jim Crow never had a single federal law. It was all state laws passed by governors. And when a woman's bodily autonomy is at risk, this is a citizenship question. And right now in the United States, governors are the only people who can protect your citizenship and make it real and make it whole. Voting is not magic. Voting is medicine. And when it comes to the issue of abortion care, this is a medicine we must take now. Because if Republicans win, they have been very clear that they intend to not only strip us of our rights in the states, they intend to make it a federal crime so they can strip all women of these rights across this country. And so even if you believe you live in a safe state, you don't. As long as we have any states that are permitted to push this narrative forward, then we are all in jeopardy. I know we are sad, we are anxious, we are angry, but what we just saw happen in Kansas proves that we can win. That in a hyper-conservative state, people still went to the polls and said, you will not take our rights away. But we've got to show up. We can't expect others to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves.